So a couple days ago, I talked about the Biden crime family. I had a short 3-minute video. I was on my break. It was during working hours. So today I just want to follow up and just give you the details because if you're watching the mainstream media, you're not going to get the details. I actually tuned into CNN to see how they were spinning this bombshell story, this smoking gun, so to speak. So Brian Stelter on Reliable Sources just said, "This is an old story," literally talking about this story. "This is an old story. Hunter Biden admitted to making mistakes going to work for Ukraine and going to work for the Chinese, and Joe Biden said he will not allow that anymore." So there's no story here. The Republicans are just drudging it up, and they got their friends in the media like Fox News talking about this like it's something big, and it's really nothing. Honestly, is what he said. So what is he saying is nothing. So there's two different stories here. The first story he's referring to that Hunter Biden admitted to, and Joe Biden said he didn't know nothing about it, and he won't allow that anymore, is this. When Hunter Biden, Joe's son, turned 40 with no prior service, Joe Biden got him into the Navy. For the rest of us, if you don't have prior service, 39 years old is the cutoff for the Navy. But like me, I got 4 years, so that would give me, it would take 4 years off. So I could be 43 and go back in if I wanted to, 11 years ago when I was 43. I actually thought about it when I was 40 because I had gotten laid off from company, went out of business. But getting back to Hunter, a few months after he was in the Navy, he got thrown out for drug abuse. And a few weeks after that, he got caught in a crack house buying crack. I mean, this is all documented, this was all, news, and this was the whole time Joe Biden was Vice President of the United States. Then, without any experience in energy, gas, oil, no experience whatsoever, he starts a company with John Kerry. At the time, he was the Secretary of State under Obama. John Kerry's stepson. And mob boss, Irish mob boss, Whitey Bulger, from the movie Black Mass, if you want to see more about him, but he just got arrested a couple years ago, and I think he got killed in jail by the Italian mob because he was an Irish mobster that ratted on the Italian mobsters. But Whitey Bulger, one of the most vicious mob bosses in history, son, was partners with Joe Biden's son. And they started this business, and they got this huge contract from Ukraine for a gas and oil business, which Hunter Biden admits, he was on Good Morning America, admits he knew nothing about the business, and he admitted he probably got it because he was Joe Biden's son. That's what we call pay for play in politics, or quid pro quo. So Hunter Biden receives $80,000 a month for doing nothing, okay? Almost nothing. What he did do, and we know this, is he got his dad to get the prosecutor fired that was investigating the company that Hunter Biden belonged to. So the prosecutor in Ukraine was investigating this company for corruption with the government. And Joe Biden's on tape, you can Google it, bragging to the Council of Foreign Affairs that he went over to Ukraine and he told the Ukrainian president, if he doesn't fire that prosecutor, he's not going to get $1 billion in aid. This is why they call Joe Biden Quid Pro Quo Joe. The name fits and it sounds good. Quid Pro Quo Joe. Remember that name. So he says he got the guy fired. And the investigation to his son's company was done. In addition to that, this is all facts. Nobody questions this. This is out there. It's in the news to see. This is old news. This is during the presidency of Obama. Joe Biden's the vice president. There's new news I'm going to talk about in a minute. Then Hunter Biden is flying the official Air Force Two vice presidential plane with Joe Biden. Joe Biden when he goes to China, Joe Biden introduces him to his Chinese friends in the government. Then Hunter Biden's company gets $1.5 billion contract. Again, This is for some kind of hedge fund or finance. Again, Hunter Biden admits he knows nothing about finance. And his commission, I believe, was like 10 or 20 million from that deal. He was just a broker in the deal, which is, it's unheard of for someone with no experience to get that. So these are facts that CNN is not denying. That's what they're saying. It's an old story. Yeah, it looked improper. He probably shouldn't do it, but he didn't break any laws, is what they're claiming. Okay? But can you imagine if this was Trump's kids or Mike Pence's kids? I guess that would be more appropriate because Mike Pence is the vice president. This would be 24/7 news. But during the Obama presidency, it was I remember the story, but most people don't because it was a very short, maybe 10 minutes of coverage by the mainstream media. Just brushed it under the rug. But now the news story is the New York Post, one of the oldest and most respected newspapers in our country, in America, if you're a foreign subscriber. New York Post, one of the oldest newspapers in our country, legitimate newspaper, published documents showing emails from Hunter Biden that they got from Hunter Biden's computer. And this has been a week, and Joe Biden's campaign has not denied no one denied it, that it's his emails. They're just saying there's no story there. They're not denying. They're admitting that it's his emails. But in the emails, it clearly shows that his company was asking him to use his father's influence to get that prosecutor fired, to get in Ukraine, and also in his emails, Hunter Biden is telling his family that he has to give 50% of his take to his father. That's why I call him the Godfather. And just like the Godfather, Michael Corleone got a take from his soldiers out in the field, Joe Biden's getting a take from his soldiers. Okay? Not only is Hunter Biden's son got kind of shady deals, but Hunter Biden's brother, who has no experience in construction, got this huge $1 billion contract in Iraq. The war Joe Biden voted for, and the war that President Donald Trump has been blasting from the day we went in, saying we don't need to be there. And he's getting all our troops out of there. So not only, so I say Joe Biden's worse than the Godfather because he's voting for a war that he's profiting off of. His family's profiting off of. And according to his son's emails, his brother's got to give half too of what he takes. So it's been known widely for years, this is how the political swamp in Washington, D.C. works. They can't take these cash payments straight to them. It'd be too easy to trace. So they have their families. They set up their families and businesses, and their families funnel it to them. Everybody knows that. You know, sometimes they set up foundations like the Clinton did. You know, you have the Russians donate $1 million to the foundation, okay? And then they take a salary from the foundation of like $1 million a year. So this is how these swampy politicians, and Biden is the epitome of a crooked politician. And he's just been caught by the grace of God. God allowed this evil to be exposed. And the media is doing everything they can. Like, wow, we got 2 weeks. We got to hide this for 2 weeks. And it's not just CNN. The biggest media giants are big tech. Twitter and Facebook have censored this. Twitter claimed they don't publish hacked emails. Number one, those emails weren't hacked. The computer was given to the Post, okay, because Hunter Biden brought it to a computer repair shop and never picked it up because he was high on crack. Forgot about it. Okay, so they're not hacked emails. But number two, they lied because they would always put hacked emails about Trump. Always. They had all kinds of hacked emails that turned out to be false. Facebook said they're doing a fact check, but they never fact checked all the false stuff that was said about Trump on Facebook. We know for a fact that the big tech giants are in it to win it for Joe Biden. We have them on video from years ago, literally crying like little babies that Trump won. They didn't do enough, and this time they're going to do everything they can to prevent Trump from winning. They've said this. CNN, there was a leaked video from CNN right after the election where he told his reporters, it's not about the news anymore, it's about defeating Trump. That's why if you look at it's 24/7, negative Trump. That's all it is, the negative Trump network, CNN. ABC, NBC, they're all the same. They maybe do it a little less, they do it a little more subtle than CNN. But Joe Biden is no better than the Godfather, Michael Corleone. He has his family doing illegal stuff, and he's taking a cut. Contrast that with Donald Trump, who's lost millions of dollars. He was a billionaire. He didn't need to become president. He lost millions of dollars becoming president, and he takes his $400,000 a year salary. For the past 4 years, hasn't taken a penny, has given it to charity. So Donald Trump lost money becoming president. Joe Biden has enriched his family by being a politician, but in the 50 years he's in there, made millions for his family, where he got 50% cut. Millions off a war in Iraq. Joe Biden is an evil man. You cannot vote for Joe Biden. He is equivalent to Michael Corleone of The Godfather. He is a real life crime boss. And if the media was honest, this would be 24/7 news, but it's not. So we, the people, have to speak on November 2nd and vote against Joe Biden, the Godfather. And it's kind of funny, he says he's Catholic. Michael Corleone was Catholic too. So, going to church doesn't make you a Christian any more than going to McDonald's makes you a hamburger. Remember that. I don't care what he says he is. He's profiting off the deaths of American soldiers, and he's profiting off our jobs being shipped to China. And this is why every blue-collar guy I know is voting Trump. Guys that have never voted before are voting Trump, because we've seen firsthand our wages go up. And we've seen our wages go up. We've gotten bonuses because a lot of blue-collar guys got like $1,000 bonuses from their companies because our CEOs said, wow, these Trump tax cuts are so huge, we want to share it with you. There were so many jobs, unemployment was so low that everybody had to compete. We were getting $1 an hour raises, $2 an hour raises. Our wages were going up, our heads were spinning. Blue-collar jobs, there were so many to choose from. But before that, all us blue-collar guys were wondering, why are these politicians making such crappy deals with China? So we sell a car to China, they put a 25% tax on it. They sell a car to us, we put no tax. Why would our politicians make such dumb deals? Because they were enriching themselves. Because Hunter Biden was getting millions of dollars from China. Trump comes in, he stops all that. He kicks China's butt. And ironically, some COVID-19 comes from China. What else? That's killing our old people. What's killing our young people? Fentanyl. Where's fentanyl coming from? China. What's Joe Biden say about China? They're not our enemy, they're our friend. He's on record saying China's our friend. I don't know why Trump makes him out to be an enemy. Why? It's his friend because he's made millions of dollars off of China. So, I know this is supposed to be a religious channel, but when evil is permeating our country and harming so many people, it's got to be spoken about. It's got to be defeated. And like Michael Voris said the other day, Satan is behind this whole thing. Even though we got to play it out in politics and in elections, at the end of the day, Satan's behind all this evil. We battle not against flesh and blood, but against every spiritual principality in high places. So we need to pray and we need to vote. Last time 87% of evangelicals voted for Trump. It's probably going to be 97% this time. 60% of Catholics only voted for Trump. We need to get that up to 97%. It should be 100% because Catholics are more pro-life than Protestants, and we have the most pro-life president in the history of the world versus the most pro-abortion nominee in the history of our country. So vote Catholic, vote Trump 2020. God bless.